Camille, belle, la moustache et la capucha. Sito patamilo, mina taka tiki punetika. Sito patamilo, mina taka tiki punetika. Sito patamilo, mina taka tiki punetika. Sito patamilo, mina taka tiki taka tiki. Sito patamilo, mina taka tiki punetika. Sito patamilo, mina taka tiki punetika. Sito patamilo, mina taka tiki punetika. Camille, belle, la moustache et la capucha.
What's going on? This is your man John Fortune, your host of the Frustrated Fan Sports Show. And today we got to talk about the news that came out that in 2012, the Washington Redskins had an opportunity to get Peyton Manning. Now, I'm here to let y'all know that as fantastic as Peyton Manning is as a quarterback and the fact that he's a Hall of Famer and things of that such nature, I have to break y'all heart. Peyton Manning would not have worked in Washington. Not because of the fact that he wasn't going to be a great quarterback or anything like that. Y'all have to understand that for that time, that offense was the perfect fit for a guy like RG3. We tend to forget that the 2 years prior, we had quarterbacks that were passers and our seasons weren't that good. We had 2 years prior that we had Donovan McNabb. And don't get me wrong, I'll say this. We didn't have the best quarterbacks, but we also didn't have the best offense either for those passers. Now, Donovan McNabb, we didn't fix the offense to even fit to go with Donovan McNabb's skills. Donovan McNabb was a guy who didn't fall off that much. But the fact that we didn't use the offense that would have suited him was a bad fit. Now the following year, again, Mike Shanahan and Kyle Shanahan was already in the mindset of trying to build this run-pass option offense, which is still prevalent today. People tend to forget that offense in 2012 was brand new. It took the league by storm. And everybody was concerned because even with that, people didn't even know you could hit the quarterback until later in the season. So it was one of those things where it became such a nightmare of an offense. And not only that, the speed that was involved in that offense was something that no one had ever seen. No one had ever done. Not only that, to have such a dynamic quarterback like a Robert Griffin III at that time. Now, and I know y'all want to go with what Peyton Manning's numbers was that year. That doesn't matter because he was in a totally different offense. We had seen what the passers in Mike Shanahan's offense did 2 years prior to the 2012 season. Even, again, I'm not saying that the quarterbacks at that time were great, but those offenses weren't that best special. Now, again, 2011, we need to go back. Cam Newton was supposed to be the Washington Redskins quarterback because Mike Shanahan had made it known that they were going to go after Cam Newton. The reason was because Kyle Shanahan and Mike Shanahan came up with this run-pass option offense. Cam Newton would have been the perfect fit for that offense. But later on that time, Warren Moon was the one who stepped in and told, at the time, Jerry Richardson that if they passed on Cam Newton, it would be the dumbest thing that they've ever done. And what ends up happening? Carolina takes Cam Newton #1 overall. The Redskins go move down. They take Ryan Kerrigan and go on with that. But you have to realize that because that offense was so innovative, Peyton Manning at the time had came off, I think, a couple neck surgeries or something like that, or had neck surgery. I know it was something where he was injured a lot. And the Redskins didn't, what Kyle Shanahan and Mike Shanahan was building at the time, Peyton Manning was not the quarterback for that. They had already started building this offense in 2011 with the hopes that they were going to draft Cam Newton. It just so happened that they ended up drafting Robert Griffin III. Now again, that was even a fight because in actuality, Mike Shanahan said it. He wanted Russell Wilson. I was one of the people that when all the talk was talking about moving up, I told everybody we should stay pat and just take Russell Wilson. I was one of the only people who said that. Everybody was concerned about his height and things like that. I said, no, this guy is a phenomenal quarterback. People weren't listening to me. And look at what Russell Wilson is now. Imagine Russell Wilson in the RPO system, especially with his durability. We would have won our Super Bowl in maybe only his first, or we probably would have won the Super Bowl in Russell Wilson's first year in Washington if we had drafted him. But I'm getting away from the point. Peyton Manning, again, was not the right quarterback to be here. He wasn't the guy that was going to get us over the hump. The reason we won so much was because, one, we had a new and brand new and innovative offense that the NFL had never seen before. Not only that, we had two rookie superstars that we had never had in Washington. These guys were so phenomenal for us that they almost were co-rookie of the years. So the fact that you need to understand that even though you would have brought in Peyton Manning, how do you not know you would have gotten what you got when you had Donovan McNabb in 2010? You don't know that. And the reason you don't know that is because when we saw quarterbacks in a passing quarterbacks, quarterbacks that didn't have much mobility in Mike Shanahan's offense, they didn't work out. And again, I'm not saying that John Beck and Rex Grossman were phenomenal quarterbacks, but Donovan McNabb was a pretty good quarterback. He definitely was. Let's not try to act like Donovan McNabb wasn't a good quarterback. But Mike Shanahan didn't want Donovan McNabb. That was something that was done behind his back. Not only that, Rex Grossman had came off of a Super Bowl, wasn't the best quarterback, was turnover prone, but at the same time, it's still a thing where the offense just didn't fit. So, and Kyle Shanahan and Mike Shanahan had been building this RPO offense that they were going to introduce to the league in 2011 because they were planning on drafting Cam Newton. Peyton Manning would not have worked. We also didn't have the most solid of lines. We had good players on that line, but remember, I think we had Tyler Columbus on one side. It was Trent Williams. We had an aging Will Montgomery. We had an aging Chris Chester who lasted with us for a while. And we also had, I think it was Josh Laribis. No. Corey Lichtensteiger. Corey Lichtensteiger was the other guy. We had a solid line, but they weren't the line that was going to keep Peyton Manning upright. And we saw that because 2 years prior, I think other than maybe Corey Lichtensteiger was maybe the only, Corey Lichtensteiger and Chris Chester maybe have been up, but we had given up so much when it came to sacks the 2 years prior with technically the same line. Even though you're still talking about Trent Williams rookie year, Trent Williams second year, but still, that offensive line was not going to keep Peyton Manning upright. You also don't get the Alfred Morris season if you go with Peyton Manning because, again, you're talking about running backs that, we got rid of all the other running backs because of the fact that they just weren't that effective. And the whole thing of that 2012 season was about speed. Speed. Peyton Manning is the king of the slow down offense. And we know that. We knew that. Now don't get me wrong. Again, I can understand everybody's excitement about the possibility of having a Peyton Manning in Washington throwing passes to Pierre Garçon and Josh Morgan. But at the same time, he wasn't the right fit at that time. I would never give up that 2012 season. If y'all want an example of what a Peyton Manning would have looked like in that RPO offense that the Redskins was installing, All you got to do is look to last year when we saw Jimmy Garoppolo in that RPO system. And we can also look to his time in Kyle Shanahan's time in Atlanta when he had the RPO offense. I know y'all may say, John, both teams went to the Super Bowl. They did, but guess what they lacked? That dynamic quarterback that would have sat up there and been a game changer. Jimmy Garoppolo threw 2 illegitimate passes later in the game. You're talking about, imagine if the 49ers would have had a far more dynamic quarterback in that offense. Which is why when I did my non-mock draft, I said the 49ers should have taken Jalen Hurts. Also, when you think about Atlanta, was Peyton Manning and Matt Ryan technically not the same quarterback? Again, not only that, Matt Ryan is a little bit more mobile than Peyton Manning. Not mobile enough, but still a little bit more mobile. And he wasn't even that effective in that offense when it came time to win the Super Bowl and become dynamic. I get it. When it comes to fantasy, we all think that, yeah, Peyton Manning would have worked out. But in reality, at the time, RG3 was the best guy for that offense. And at the end of the day, we didn't win the Super Bowl, but we almost came close. If he didn't get hurt in that Baltimore game, and he doesn't go down and he doesn't go down in that playoff game, we're talking about a totally different team. Peyton Manning wouldn't even been a big deal or anything of that such nature. But understand this. We had the right quarterback that year for that Washington team. This has been your man, John Fortune, and this has been the Frustrated Fan Sports Show.